Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here today. XRP up 1.73%, bouncing off of the spot we talked about yesterday. So we'll deep dive into that, and we will be talking about trending news in the crypto markets today. Hey, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Yesterday was an amazing Thanksgiving. Hope you guys all had an amazing time. Hope you got to celebrate with friends and family. For those of you that are here in the US and celebrate, it was an epic time for sure, but time continues on. I also had something that was very important that I remembered yesterday, and that was that we needed to check back in with our moon cycles. It's been a very long time since we've talked about the moon cycles and what is going on. Well, there's something interesting, and we've been talking about how all of this positive momentum has been building for XRP to the upside. We've been looking at my indicator here for the last 3 days showing bullish momentum continuing, and obviously we knew that some bullish was coming in, but those time frames kept piling in and piling in and piling in as bullish on XRP, and we will be jumping into that indicator here shortly. But what we talked about specifically was price getting up and over the 50 exponential moving average on the daily. And that's why we have this line right here. We talked about this yesterday, 41,704. So 0.41704, it got there and rejected. Now, remember, there is still the only bearish signal on time frames for XRP right now is the daily. And that signal is that if it breaks over the 50 exponential moving average, we may see a crazy drop from there. Well, I also have confluence from the new moon indication that popped up on the 23rd. So this was 2 days ago. We had a new moon cycle start in. And if you guys are not aware, this may or may not work. I don't know. I think it's cool to check on it every once in a while, especially when the new moon or full moon hits. But going back historically, this was a new moon. Price did go down a little bit, mainly trading sideways. This was a full moon. There was definitely a pump. This was a new moon. Right here, it did a chop cycle, but ended up pumping up. This right here was a full moon, and that one did not work out. This was a new moon. That one did not work out for the whole entire month, the whole entire 2-week cycle until the last couple of days. It bam, right? But it dropped right in to a full moon, pumping out. Now we have a new moon cycle, and a couple of things are starting to appear that we may be running out of steam to the upside at the same exact time. Not saying that we're going to dump today or tomorrow or potentially ever, because we'll have to deep dive into this today, and that's what we're going to be doing. Looking at the charts here for XRP, we're going to look at the weekly, daily, and the 4-hour. And in reality, we're going to be checking in some of these smaller time frames. We are also going to be checking in on Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. They are not faring as well. They have been moving up as well, but they're looking like they're running out of steam compared to XRP. XRP has a little boost compared to what those have, but we'll be checking all of that. And we're also going to be jumping into the trending news, so let's jump over there now. And on my way over to the news, I did remember I had pulled this up for us here as well. So you can see the moon here. This was the new moon cycle, happened on November 23rd, kicked in at basically 3 p.m. The next full moon is December 7th. So is there a potential of price coming down for the next 2 weeks until December 7th? Mark this and we'll find out. So XRP full mooning, XRP new mooning, we're going to see if it plays out in those ways this cycle. All right, now jumping over here to check out the news. This is my favorite news aggregator site, Crypto Panic. And we'll jump over here to the trending section. We can see here, El Salvador buys 1 Bitcoin a day forever, question mark. Shorts Bitcoin crypto. That's kind of interesting there. So El Salvador, as we know, the country that has turned their whole entire country into Bitcoin acceptance. And obviously, they're probably, struggling a little bit right now because the price of Bitcoin's dropping. But El Salvador, are they on the forefront of the future, or could this be another really horrible situation for them? Only time will tell. Obviously, I believe in Bitcoin, so long term, I think it's going to be a great thing for them. And maybe they are onto something future-wise. So also, whales abruptly move over $420 million in XRP, Binance Coin, Polygon, and Curve here's where the crypto is going. Cardano CEO Charles Hoskinson says cryptos will die without decentralized identity. And I believe with this 100%. And it only goes to show, I mean, you got to think about this, right? The reality is smart contracts, the development of that was a brilliant situation that came out of cryptocurrency. But could it just be like the next step of web? So could we do web 2.5 with smart contracts? I don't believe so. Web 3, the decentralization of money, decentralization of everything, is the freedom opportunity. That's what crypto was initially. That's what the whole idea, the whole use case of Bitcoin was freedom, the people's money. And then, of course, other things adopted the freedom aspect of decentralization, but money was the original purpose. But I do believe, and I agree with what Cardano CEO says here, Charles Hoskinson, crypto will die without decentralized identity, because the reason people jumped into this was because it was an opportunity for decentralization. The powers that be, the New World Order, didn't have control over us normal people. Finally, we escaped the matrix, right? Well, if we have to go back into centralization with Web3, then it just defeats the whole entire original use case of crypto and cryptographic money, right? MetaMask admits they temporarily store IP addresses. This is becoming a bigger deal than I thought it would become. It's actually a huge deal now. People are really going crazy on Twitter. It's become a firestorm for sure that MetaMask is now collecting your data. I saw somebody who was very smart, did a great thread on MetaMask talking about they tried to go around, because MetaMask, their company CoinSense, has said that there's a workaround. There's other websites you can use and then connect it you can connect the network in your MetaMask. Well, this person went through a long detailed thread with screen grabs and everything showing that you can't really do that. Because as soon as you connect to a MetaMask, if you create a brand new wallet, it automatically starts reading your IP address. So obviously one of the great ways to get around that would be to use a VPN. That is one option. And then they're working on a couple of backdoors, workarounds, and stuff like that. So stay tuned. We'll keep you involved in the loop, what we find out. The Ethereum Foundation sold 100,000 Ethereum, and you can see that's getting 35 downvotes. MetaMask, 34 downvotes. People are not excited about that. Cardano adds over 100,000 wallets in November despite FTX debacle. I wouldn't say why. I don't see why they say despite. That is because of, potentially there at the end. Cardano's getting a lot of play, a lot of positive things coming out of Cardano, but they're not getting the run up in their price at all. None of this really great press, really great milestones, really great, amazing things coming out of Cardano. No one cares. So I wonder if that's the ZSS Becker. I wonder if it's his constant trashing of Cardano that just keeps people away from it, because his negative propaganda against Cardano is pretty strong out there. So Bitcoin and Ether are not securities, Belgian financial regulator says. So let's take a look over here. Cardano CEO Hoskinson says cryptos will die without decentralized identity. And he says here, we'll just go over this brief part here. Cardano CEO says decentralized identities are needed to prevent loss of access to crypto. Cardano is working on creating decentralized economic identities to bring DeFi to the financially excluded. Hoskinson suggests that Twitter used BNB chain instead of Dogecoin to process payments. And as you guys know, there is a big major move for Twitter, and they may be becoming a payment gateway rather than a town square news thing. So it'll be interesting to see what Elon actually produces with Twitter, because I don't think it's just a news organization or a tweet where you can just fire off comments and such. I think that it's going to be something that you can't even, when you see what happens to Twitter, you won't even believe that it happened. That's what I'm seeing coming out of that. So decentralized economic identity, critical for economic inclusion. The Cardano co-founder stressed the importance of creating a decentralized economic identity, such as identity is vital to realize cryptocurrency's potential as a tool for financial inclusion. Legacy providers of economic identification like credit scores often act as gatekeepers, disincentivizing customers from using decentralized finance. All right, MetaMask admits they are storing IP addresses, and then going through the article, like I was saying before, the best option, therefore, is to run a VPN or connect to your own node, with it long known that nodes can collect IP address which connect to it, with this MetaMask affair also not being a new state, as Finlay says. And it says here, we're not just starting to collect IPs, we're actually trying to reduce any instances of cached PII. This was a GDPR compliance legal notice that they collect IPs. So let me know down in the comment section, are you still okay with using MetaMask? Does it bother you that they're collecting the information? And you know, it's really interesting because the privacy thing's a big thing as far as cryptos go. Some people say, oh, who cares if it's private? As long as it seems free, that's good. Some people are like, oh, you just need to be private because you're trying to hide something. I don't know. Like, personally, the idea of freedom and privacy was one of the things that really brought me into crypto, because I thought it was cool not having to use a bank, so on and so forth. But let me know, what do you think down in the comments? Whales abruptly move over $420 million in XRP, Binance, Polygon, and Curve. Here's where crypto's notable XRP transactions include $26 million worth $10 million transferred from Bitstamp to unknown wallet, $30 million transferred, moved from unknown wallet to Bitstamp. So that's kind of strange, right? So coins came out of Bitstamp to an unknown wallet, and then from a different unknown wallet into Bitstamp, and then $29 million worth of XRP, $11 million worth of money shifted from unknown wallet to Bitstamp. So it looks like Bitstamp is just shuffling money in and out. Could be from their hot wallet, cold wallet, who knows? XRP is changing hands at 40 cents at the time of writing, a 2.3 increase on the day. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over to the charts and see what is going on. So a couple of things here. We take a look, and all of our spots that we've been talking about have now been hit. So all of our zones that we talked about, a break above here would have been good. A break above here that did happen would have been great. And now we've run into the 50 exponential moving average. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually remove everything. We're going to start clean and fresh here, up 2% on the day. We're going to take a look. Now, there is some glaring obvious things that stand out just looking at the chart right here. Number one being this big, giant imbalance in price that would lead us all the way up to this level here. And that is called a fair value gap. So we do have an indicator that we can use to just show us that really quick and easy, which gets us right there. Is price going to move up into there and fill that fair value gap? That is the real question. And the fact that it's there and it hasn't really penetrated deeply because it ran into, so we'll turn our indicator back on, our moving average ribbon. It did run into our 50 exponential moving average. Now, the interesting thing here on that is it did, oh, not that. We need to go here, and we're going to return back on our 14 as well. Our 14 is curling up hard now. So we've got some really great support on the 14 exponential moving average. We're smashed now between that and the 50 exponential moving average. And then as we were talking for the last couple of days, what needed to happen, or what could potentially happen, was price getting back to that 1 hour 1100 exponential moving average, which did happen yesterday. Now it's trying to make it happen again. So late into the night, last night, boom, it finally hit it. It could not hold support there, moved down. We also have our 2 hour 1100 exponential moving average rejected off there twice. Is it going to make its move back up there again? Which now also brings us to our 4 hour exponential moving average. As you can see here, the 14 has crossed the 50, looking bullish. And we had also said on XRP specifically, if price got above the 50 and then hooked back down, we could see a bearish scenario play out. But right now it came up, retested the 50, and is moving up. So let's test XRP on our indicator. So XRP is still climbing momentum-wise on the indicator to the upside. there is still a smidgen of possibility that price, if continued to drop rapidly over the next, we talked about this yesterday, how it could happen over the next 4 to 8 candles. Well, it did not happen yet after the 4 candles. So will it happen 4 more candles from now? It would have to happen quickly. That would be for a bearish scenario. The other scenario is continued price rise for XRP above that daily 50 exponential moving average. Does it hold power here, or does that bearish move happen? All of the other signals turn from bearish to bullish. The daily is the only one remaining. And the reality is, we could even potentially flip that one to bullish as we continue filling in this imbalance on the daily charts here. What we also want to look at now is go over to High-Kanashi candles, and we're going to take a look at supply and demand zones. So our upside supply level candle would be here, and this one is on the daily, and that's where people could unload their supply. That is a possibility. It's on the daily charts there. That would be getting us all the way back up to 46.805 cents. So 46.805, 46 cents. That would be a nice rally to the upside. And if you remember, we talked about this yesterday. This is what we were looking for price to break out of. Well, let's go to the 4-hour one because it gives us a way better, perfect candle to take a look at. And it was this one right here. It needed to break this candle. It sure enough did. And in fact, it broke that candle and is holding that candle as support. So not only did it make the move to that breakout level, it broke it, came back, retested it, held it as support. So now that we have that under control, our next level to potentially move up to is our 4-hour 1100 exponential moving average. We're going to go ahead and mark this level here, and we'll mark it with this so we can label it. And we're going to mark it red because this one is a 4-hour. Let's go text. 4-hour 1100 EMA on 11/25/22. So that way we can track if it runs up to that level there. Also, let's take a look at now the daily exponential moving average, which is here. We need to break this and create a support level at this level. So as you can see, we rejected today, but tomorrow, could we see the surge and the break above that? So this is going to be the daily, capital D, 50 EMA on 11/25 also. So that way we can kind of keep documentation of where we go. So what is price needing to do? And this could be extremely, extremely bullish. So price makes its way up over the next day or two, holds this level, then makes its way to that 4-hour EMA. That right there, could flip all the way to everything bullish. And then if that happens, guess what? Look at where our daily 1100 exponential moving average runs into. Right here, let's go ahead and mark this, the daily 1100 exponential moving average, 1100 EMA daily on 11/25. Those obviously change. That's why I'm dating them, because price is so much lower than that. That's going to continue dropping. Same thing as the 4-hour 1100. That's why I labeled it here, because that's going to keep on dropping. And then let's go ahead. We forgot to label this one. This needs to be yellow also. That's the daily. So bullish scenario. And again, by the way, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this information is financial advice. Do not buy or sell anything because we talk about on this channel. This is just financial entertainment and financial education. So as we go through this now, what kind of scenarios do we have out? And this is all bullish. Okay. So I'm only going bullish right now. We'll cover the bearish scenario. Some of you guys may be bears out there, and I'm going to go ahead. I want to find a better zone for price, because that daily supply and demand zone was so big. This is a more likely play out, so that we'll put that one there, and then even a move above there gets us to there. All right, so that's our supply and demand zones on the 4-hour. That's why they're red. So if you'll notice, daily is yellow, 4-hour is red, 1 hour is blue, 15 minutes is purple. And then we don't really have any colors. We use different colors for the smaller levels because we just don't label them as often. But let's take a look. All right, so looking at this now, we're taking a look here on the charts. We have now broke out above that breakout level. We're getting very close to that daily 50 exponential moving average to claiming that as a support. We ran into it as a rejection. We claim that as support. We make the move up next to the 4-hour 1100 exponential moving average, which is 45 cents. Now, that brings me to something else that we haven't done in a while that I'm going to do right now. So let's do this. We're going to go ahead and get 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these. Okay, so this one is going to be settings, color. We're going to make it gray, coordinates 0.35. So this is the 35 cent. Okay, so we're going to mark this here, gray, settings, coordinates 0.35. Because if you remember, we had those layers marked for so long, 35, 45, 55, 65, because those were all super key levels that we were watching. So now we got 0.45, and then we're going to add another one at 0.55. Okay. And then we're going to add another one at 0.65. Boom. Okay, and if you guys remember, that was because way back in the day when we were following these levels, that was potential drops, and actually it ended up coming and dropping below all of them, unfortunately. But as we continue our climb back up, we had talked about those getting here too. Remember, if we got back to this level here, that 45 cent level, held it as a support, we did, running into the 55 support as a resistance, coming back down, 45 cent support, broke that all the way down to that 35 cent level. So if you'll notice, XRP has been continually climbing in these 10 cent increments and holding some sort of support around those ranges. And that was in the past, it was support here. Right now, it's turned resistance here at 55 cents, 65 cents, same scenario. And as we can see, besides all this that's going on right here, historically, on the drop down, when we do these supply and demand levels that we do with the High-Kanashi candles, those were also on those levels. And that is why we were following them so closely, because they kept playing out for us. And that even gets 75, 85, all these 10 cent levels. So 85, 75, 65, 55, 45, 35 cent levels are what we're keeping a very close eye on. Now, that also brings me to what have we been talking about? That really key level that is down at the bottom. And how do we find it? Well, we turn on our fair value gap again here on the daily, and then look where this leaves us. 27 cents. That's our last downside daily fair value gap. So what do we plug in there? We're going to go ahead and plug in the potential of 25 cents. Now, I know a lot of you guys are like, no way, man, the freaking banks are already buying XRP. It's going to $1 bazillion a coin, man. It's just like going to go forever. Hey, that's cool. And hopefully one day it is $1,000 a coin, but right now it's not. So we're going to continue playing the charts like it's a normal coin. All right, cool. So now we're all charted out. So we got the 50-day EMA. We get up here. We claim it as a support. We make our way up to the next level. And look where this level comes out. That is that 4-hour 1100 exponential moving average. That is also, I didn't know this until we made the gray lines, but look where it is, 45 cents. So it's very likely if this bullish momentum hits, boom, it continues its way up. All right, next level, we have some 4-hour supply and demand zones that are going to be in our way, 46 and 47 cents, as well as 49, 50 cents. But that also gets us up here if we could keep the momentum going. I mean, look at these power candles to the downside. We could get some power candles to the upside with some positive news, getting us up in here to the daily 1100 exponential moving average, which is currently sitting at 50 cents. That's positive news to the upside. The opposite is true, right? So if we did run into a potential stopping point, that 50 exponential moving average, if we climb over it, or if we're using the 4-hour potential bearish play where this is a resistance, boom, it runs back down potentially to 35 cents. If that does not hold support, we could then continue our way down to the 25 cent level Why? Because that fair value gap sits right there. And historically, let's go ahead and go back. Historically, got to go back on the daily charts, not the 4-hour. Here we go. We do have a supply and demand box right here. Okay. And then we even have one lower level here. And there's even one lower there, but we're not going to cover that one right there. But if you take a look at those supply and demand levels right there, those are daily. So I got to color those back in yellow. All right, fill that in yellow there. There we go. And then at the same exact time, we turn on our indicator fair value gap one final time before we jump over to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Our fair value gap is sitting exactly on top of this 25-26 cent supply and demand zone. And it's also sitting right above the gray line that we just put in there at the exact 25 cent level. So those are your upsides, potential downsides for pricing. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but make sure you guys keep track of this and then come back tomorrow and let me know what you guys think of what the chart said. All right, jumping over here to Ethereum. Ethereum is not pumping like XRP. XRP is getting this news, partnership with Bank of America. It's come out that they have been doing tons and tons of Forex transactions. So all of the use case of XRP has been coming along. So it's been bringing in a lot of momentum. Also, there's some really interesting news that the exchanges are running out of XRP. So maybe that's why a bunch of those coins were flying onto BitGet or whatever that exchange was. They're all losing XRP anyway. So here we go. We have now run into a level of support that was yesterday. Okay, so Ethereum has now run into a level of resistance and it is checking to the downside. It did run down and bounce off of this 1175 that we had marked off the other day. So let's go ahead and clear the charts here as well. And we will go ahead and rechart all of this. So first and foremost, jumping to Higurashi, we will look at the upside supply and demand zone here. Boom, very nice. We also have this one here though, which will be our immediate resistance if this starts to pump again, which will be interesting to see. And then to the downside, we have this one right here. So Ethereum's trading in this really tight range. So it'll be easy to know if we're going to break to the upside or downside just by breaking out of these two zones. And the numbers on those zones are breaking into a level of price at 1,232 or a downside breaking down below 1157, the bottom of that being 1,073. After that, we will then have this level here, which is the lowest level as of recent days from the June lows of $878. Could it potentially break below there? It is definitely a possibility. We have been having this little bit of momentum surge over the last couple of days, but when we flip back here, we can also go over into moon cycles or moon phases for Ethereum and take a look at how they've played out historically as well. So right now we had a full moon and it pumped the next day, but then crashed back down. We have a new moon and that is starting to play out now. Does it push a little higher? Does it have the drop down lower? You can see we had the new moon here where it rallied up until the very end of that new moon. And then there was the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse was this massive drop, by the way, which was kind of interesting how that plays out. Now turning on our indicators. So we'll go to the moving average ribbon here, and then we're going to take a look at, okay, so right now on the daily, it's running into the 14-day exponential moving average, rejected off there, could surge through, maybe making its way up to the 50. Let's go ahead and mark the 50 daily. So this is the 50 EMA daily, 50 EMA daily on 11/25, so we can track that. We're going to jump to the 4-hour charts here. So right now we are at that 4-hour level and we have, okay, so look, price has gone above the 4-hour. So it came here, it's here, and then it could make a drop unless it reclaims support there. So let's look at our indicator here. 4 hour on Ethereum is indicating there is a potential sell-off coming. Let's go take a look back in history. So the last time we had this indication flash was all the way back on October 17th when it broke above the 50 and it had that little crash there. But then a whole bunch of positive momentum came flying in to the charts at that point. And that was from a full moon. That was a full moon cycle, ran all the way up into here before that drop off as of recent. So this move right here was actually a mixed signal. So that wasn't a actual indicator signal there on the 4 hours. But looking at my indicator here, that was a daily signal. So as you can see here, it had broken above and then it came crashing down below the 50 exponential moving average on the daily. Looking at our indicators now, there is a potential where price does do the same thing. So price runs up above the 50 exponential and then makes the crash down. Does it even get that high? Who knows? Because it's already potentially forming here on the 4 hour. So let's take a dive through the hourlies and see what's happened. So daily is bearish, 4 hours is bearish. The 1 hour is still bullish. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. The 30 minutes bullish, 15 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, and even the 1 minutes are all bullish right now on Ethereum, just the 4 hour and the daily. So we could potentially see we climb, more volume and momentum come in, and we flip the 4 hour to bullish as well. And then we run up to this 50 moving average. If we take a look at the 1 hour charts, we have not hit the 1 hour 1100 exponential moving average. We have on XRP. Can we get there also on Ethereum? That's the question. Where are we on the 30-minute one? Not even there yet. Are we on it? So we are there on the 15-minute. It's rejecting off of it right now. But these are bullish signals right now on these lower time frames. So this, if the 50 crosses the 15, or if the 50 exponential moving crosses the 1100 on the 15-minute, that's really bullish. We could flip the 4 hour signal like we have on XRP. We could flip it on Ethereum as well. But right now it's not there. All right, so let's go back to the 4 hour. Did we label that yet? No, we did not. So, oh yeah, and then we should also throw in that it was bearish. Okay, and then we'll also mark right here, since we are on it right now, we're going to mark it red, and then indicator text. So 4 hour bear 50 EMA. So tomorrow when we look back at this, if this has climbed over this and gained this as a support, right, which is possible, because look at this, is potentially going to be a bullish move. So if this flips bullish, then what I will be watching for is I will be watching for the potential of price climbing all the way back up to the daily 50 moving average, and then watch to see if we can flip the daily to bullish as well. And then we move our way all the way back up into the daily supply and demand zone up here at 1572, and then also our 1100 exponential moving average, which will be in that same type of zone as well. So there is some bullish scenarios. The bearish scenario is that we do start this fall off on the 4 hour fall off, like we see that price has done here, falling off big, back to this June lows, and then finally getting our weekly lower low. All right, so the weekly lower low, because if we go to our RSI TDI, remember, we are waiting for the bullish divergence to happen on the weekly, because if we take a look here, what we've got going, this was the low. As long as the RSI doesn't break below that low, price comes below that low on price, down here, we have a bullish divergence, which would be awesome on the weekly for Ethereum. Because if we go back in history, like we talked about, this was a legit bullish divergence that happened right here. And then boom, the bull market reactivated. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we got a lot of chop and mess in here too. Let's clear all this out. Turn our indicators on again. We're going to go with moving average ribbon. So we'll go ahead and mark these. Let's look at Bitcoin now. Bitcoin's daily is bearish, 4 hour bearish, 1 hour. 1 hour tried to be bullish, but it might be flipping bearish. 30, 15, and 5 and 1 are bullish still though. Okay, so now what that means then, we're going to go down to, whoa, that's the wrong one. So we go daily. This moves down to here. I need to turn my magnet off. Turn this to yellow. BTC 50 EMA bear 11.25. Save that. Okay. And we'll get this much closer because that's way too much. And then we'll go to the 4 hour. Mark it here. 4 hour is bearish, so this could flip to the bear right now. 4 hour bear 50 EMA 11.25. Again, so if we get some proper momentum volume positive right here, we could then gain our way up to here and then flip the 4 hour to bullish as well. And if we look at this on the dailies, Heikinashi's, boom, supply and demand zone there. I need my magnet back on. Delete magnet, boom, there. We also have some interference here. Okay, so this is good news, right? So if this doesn't fall off and we do gain proper movement to the upside, we do need to break 17,125. That will allow us to get up into this area of this 18,500, claim that as a support. That would then turn the 4 hour to bullish, moving our way up to the daily. And then if that turns bullish, then we could see a rise back to 20,000. However, the opposite is true. Now that we have made new lower lows down here, we could be going into uncharted territory. And let's take a look at what that could be. All right, so here we are on the dailies and we're with Bitcoin. So let's get some supply and demand zones here. So we have this box there, this box here, and this box here. We're already in this box right now. So this is the one. Oh, right here. And there we go. Okay, so now go back to present day. Take a look at where price is. So as you can see, price has come down and tapped this one right here, the supply and demand zone, 15,491, and then rejected. It's come back to retest it again, still giving a rejection. If it drops below this, and then loses this box, the bottom of that box is 14,800. We could see a return to 13,780. If we lose that box, then we can, start talking about 11,000 zones. And we'll follow this along. So again, subscribe, follow along, come along with us on the journey. Does it start to pop up? Do we get some positive momentum? Or do we drop back down to these $1,100, $10,000 range of Bitcoin?
If you're ready to earn an extra $200 to $3,000 per day in passive income, just like the Run Guys do every single day, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, then click the link in the description of this video to learn the Run Guys' #1 way to start earning passive income online with crypto today.